Hey everyone, thank you for watching. Today's video I'm really excited to do. I'm going to be sharing a get ready with me and showing you how I got this look right here. And this is using products that I pulled for my June Shopped My Stash bag. So if you missed that video, it did go up on Thursday. I reviewed all the products that I chose out for May, and then I also went through my picks for June and the products that I'm going to be really consistently using throughout the month. But if you would like to see how I got this look here, why don't we go ahead and get started. Alrighty, so got my ears on. So starting off, I think I'm just going to start with the face today. That's kind of what I'm feeling. So I have the Charlotte Tilbury Wonder Glow Primer and then the Dior Backstage Face and Body. I generally actually don't pair these together, so I don't think I'm going to today. I more put this in because a lot of times if I'm just kind of like running around or if we're out of town, I just wear this and like maybe concealer and some powder, and I don't wear foundation, especially if like we're outside a lot for the summer months. But then I also did want to put in the Dior because it's a nice lightweight kind of lighter coverage foundation for the summer also. But just generally I don't really put those two together. So I'm actually going to use for my primer, this one here is from Covergirl. This is the True Blend Base Business Skin Primer, and it is the skin smoothing one. I actually mentioned this in my If I Could Only Keep One video where I was talking only drugstore products. This was the primer that I chose out, so I thought it could be a fun one to pull into this video. So I'm just going to go ahead and apply to my skin here. So I've been having a little bit of issues with my autofocus. This video is actually going to go up on Sunday, and normally how I had it was the first Friday of every month was going to be for my Shopped My Stash get ready with me, and then the day before that was when I was going to be going over my bag and the video that went up last Thursday reviewing my May picks and showing what I got out for June. But I had done some pre-filming because I was gone for a couple days last week out of town, and when I went back to edit my videos, I noticed that my plant in the back here, whose name is Perry, if you are new, kept getting in focus instead of me, and it was driving me crazy. And the video that I had filmed, that I had pre-filmed, I was not in focus almost the majority of the video, and so I was like, you know what, I'm just gonna have to go ahead and scrap that one and refilm. So my schedule got a little mixed up here, so I'm just gonna go ahead and put some of this Dior foundation. I have the Sigma sponge here. Normally I also like to use a brush with this foundation because it's a little bit more liquidy. Like I said, it's a little bit lighter coverage, so sometimes I like a brush to get a little bit more coverage, but I need to wash my brushes like it is nobody's business. It is getting a little bit out of control, so I'm just going to go ahead and use my sponge here, and I'm okay having a lighter coverage. I've been pretty much only wearing tinted moisturizer all week, so I don't mind if this sponge kind of shears out the foundation a little bit. When I started editing the video that I ended up scrapping, I was like, oh no, what should I do? When I got home from being out of town on Wednesday, I came home to my Jaclyn Hill package had arrived from the lipsticks that I ordered, and I was so excited. I sat down and I filmed right away, and I was like, oh, that can be Sunday's video, you know, Friday's video is the get ready with me. And then I started editing the video and I was like, yeah, you can't even see me, like no one can watch this video. So I decided to just go ahead and put the Jaclyn Hill video up on Friday and then refilm this video. So that's why the order, like out of orderness happened. And I've mentioned before on my channel that I'm just such a scheduler. I live and breathe by my calendar, and I'm just that person that like when I'm going to do this on this day, that's what I'm doing. And it's just, if I don't and if I get away from that, it just really bothers me. That's why even in all of our moving craziness, we, moved to a new city, we had our, house packed up, it was just such a stressful time. I still uploaded 6 days a week, and there were so many people, so many nice comments coming in of people saying, you don't have to be, uploading, so regularly. You can take a day off. And I was saying back that just because of like how I am, it stresses me out more to have to miss a video than it would, like I would rather stay up late. I would rather not do something with friends in order to get up my videos when I say I'm going to have them up, because that's just like who I am. And sometimes I wish I wasn't. Sometimes I wish I was a little bit more relaxed with myself. Once I realized that my video wasn't great, and that I had an option, I had another video ready to go for Friday, I was like, you know what, you just need to calm down and not be so hard on yourself. Like, I was like, literally probably no one's even going to realize it. But what kind of like drives me crazy is I've gotten into this groove of Fridays here on my channel are trying new makeup or a get ready with me or something along those lines. That's kind of what I do here on Fridays. So I'm like, well, you know, lipstick swatches, like it's still kind of like, it's not necessarily a get ready with me, but it's still like maybe along those lines. But then I was also bothered because it's like, okay, I've said the first Friday of every month is my Shop My Stash video, and now I can't put it up. And I'm like, it's you, Samantha, you have to calm down. Like, it's not that big of a deal. And I was watching the tracking for my Jaclyn Hill package, and I was like, oh man, if it just had come a couple days sooner, I could have gotten it up for my Tuesday video, because Wednesdays are my Will I Buy It, so that's what I post every Wednesday here. Then I was like, oh man, you know, I take Saturdays off, and I really try to stick with that. No Saturday upload. I actually really try to disengage from social media on Saturdays, just take a break, because you need it. You really do. So I was like, oh no, you know, my Jaclyn Hill video is not going to get up till Sunday, and you know, I think I started seeing the first videos coming out on like Tuesday, I want to say maybe, is when I saw the first, it was on Instagram, but it was just like a lip swatching video on Instagram, and I was like, oh man, people are already getting their packages, like, and whatnot. So I was like, oh, I wish I could get that video up a little bit sooner, but nope. I mean, Friday's my Shop My Stash, get ready with me. That's what it is. That's what it's going to be. So I'm like, maybe that's just like a sign of like, just put the video up sooner, or just don't be so hard on yourself if you have to change your schedule. I don't know. Does that make any sense? I know that I've talked to some of you guys in the comments and in messages, and you're, you know, pretty much the same way as me. Like, you have to have that order. And so when your order gets mixed up, it's just harder for you to deal with it. So that's kind of what I've been dealing with. And so that's why this video is not coming on time. And you know, it's like I say in Thursday's video, check back tomorrow for my get ready with me, check back for my get ready with me, and I'm like, oh, rah. But that's okay. It's not a huge deal. It's not a huge deal. But also another thing, because I've been changing my settings, my videos have been a little bit darker than I want them to be, and I'm like, I truly can't put any more lights on me. Like, I have lights on me, I'm sitting in front of a window getting natural light, like what else is it that I need to be doing? So I started to really look at my camera settings, and I think I finally got them to a place where I quite like them, and so I was like, okay, all good here. But then once I messed with the settings, something happened with my autofocus. So instead of the autofocus on me, it all of a sudden just kept going to the plant behind me, and even when I would move and shift, it stayed on the plant. And I'm like, Perry, this is really rude. What are you doing to me? So I went in and I tried to adjust the autofocus settings. The concealer I was using was the Cover FX Power Play. I'll have everything linked, of course, if I don't mention anything. And then I'm just going to set it with I'm gonna set with the Milk Makeup. I have a couple different powder options, but I'm gonna do the Milk Makeup Blur Powder in Translucent. So I changed up the autofocus. So today's the first time that I'm filming a video. Like, I did a few test ones and I thought that it looked pretty good, but today's video is gonna be the first one where the video actually goes up with these new settings. So hopefully the autofocus is okay. I now have boxes around my face that move when I move, so hopefully that means that it is going to be focusing on me, but we shall see. Fingers crossed. I'm really not the best at this kind of stuff, but I try. I watch a lot of YouTube videos. I ask questions. I get so many helpful comments and DMs from you guys too, helping me out, and other creators. So nice helping me out. It's hard, man. You know, filming YouTube videos is not just sitting down and talking about makeup. There's so much that goes into it. There's so much you have to learn. There's so much you have to buy. I don't know if everyone, you know, quite realizes that, because there's just so many times that, you know, I don't take these as mean comments, because even people in my real life say like, oh man, I wish I had your job and so easy. I'm like, okay. You know, but you know, it's the same thing. I think it's really easy to judge, because I've totally 100% done it before, and my friends too, you know, with their certain situations. I've been like, man, it must be nice to be him or her or whatnot. Then you have to sit and think about it, like, okay, you see one part, but think about what actually goes into it, or what they have to sacrifice, or you know, the pressures or stresses on them because of their particular job. So, you know, it's just a reminder for myself too, to, you know, not judge other people as well, and that you're probably not getting the whole picture, just seeing one side of what they do, if that makes sense. I use this powder to set my whole face as well. I kind of picked up a lot, but you know what, that's okay. That's okay. I really like this powder. It's nice and mattifying also, and that also sets makeup really well. And I know I'm going to take Aries on a pretty good walk later, so it's not like I'm doing anything else tonight where if my makeup were to fall apart it would be a bummer, but see how it holds up. Our weather has gotten quite warm over the last week or so, and I am very happy about that. Very happy about that. I am not the person that you will see complaining about how hot it is in the summer. We only get a few weeks, sometimes it feels like, of summer in Iowa, so I'm just like, bring it on. I'm ready. Winter is not my forte. Next up for my cheek products, I'm gonna grab my Smashbox Cali contour. So I've already been doing some traveling, like I mentioned, and this is the only bag that I took, and once again I was just like, I was so happy with my choice for the Cali contour. You have so many different options in here. Love the mirror on here. Also, I was, you know, getting ready in my friend's bedroom, sitting on the air mattress, getting ready in my Smashbox with my Smashbox palette. So I really liked this. I'm going to be using some brushes from the brand Rephr. This one here is 04. If you guys haven't heard of this brand yet, I would say to check them out. They did send over some brushes for me to try. Nothing in this video is sponsored, of course, because I would have already told you that, but they did send me some brushes to try out, and it's just a really interesting concept for a brand, so I'll definitely have their website linked down below. I actually heard about them first through Michelle Wang and then also Mel Thompson here on YouTube. They were both talking about them and you know, sharing videos, and if you guys know me or follow along or watch like my Will I Buy It series, I always mention about how I have a weakness for makeup brushes. I don't know what it is. So I was really interested when I was watching their videos and just kind of hearing the concept behind the brand. But basically, if you go to their website, they kind of, the idea is like they put out prototypes of brushes, and you can actually request to get the brushes for free in exchange for your feedback on the brush. Because actually the owners of the company are engineers. They are not really into beauty, but they are engineers, and they were interested in the beauty industry, and they thought that they would start off with brushes. So they get feedback. The word Rephr comes from reference. They get feedback, they get, you know, the reviews from people trying out the prototypes, and then they kind of adjust the brushes, or they have created more brushes than what they initially start out with based on what people want to see and all of that. It's just a really interesting concept, so definitely I would say to check them out. I will, like I said, have their website linked down below if that sounds interesting to you. And I believe that they are doing a like Kickstarter campaign, which I think is Monday, June 10th. But just kind of something if you wanted to look into that as well. But just again, thought it was an interesting concept, thought I would mention that. So I'm going to be using the bronzer shade out of here, and I'm going to use the 06. It's a kind of big for a bronzer brush, but I do also like big bronzer brushes sometimes. So when I got this one, that's kind of where, like, first my mind went to face powder, and then I was looking at it a little bit closer, and I was like, you know what, I'm actually going to use this for bronzer. Kind of reminds me a bit of like my Morphe R2, which I enjoy so much, and it's just as really fast and easy for bronzer. So I'm just going to go ahead and bronze up here with this one. Or I'd love to know if anyone has tried out their brushes yet and what do you think about them, and just kind of like the concept and idea behind the brand, because I think that it's pretty interesting. Then picking up the blush from this palette, I really like this blush shade. This is the, oh wait, no, that's not the brush I wanted. This is the 05 brush that I'm going to be using for blush. I'm going to go ahead and do my brows off camera. I've chose out the Carity Brow Goals, so I'm just going to go ahead and do this quick, and then we will pop back into it. Okay, so brows are done. I'm going to go ahead and spray my face now with the Urban Decay Chill Setting Spray. This one is like dangerously close to being gone, and I'm going to have to buy another one because this is one of my favorites, especially for summer. So for my eyeshadow palette, I have the Dominique Cosmetics Berries and Cream palette. I really like this eyeshadow palette. It's so large, hard to get all in here. I really like this palette, but I feel like I haven't reached for it a lot lately because there's always so many new palettes to be trying out. But I definitely want to play with this one today. So first I'm going to go into the shade Soft and Sweet. I'm taking another brush from Rephr. This is the P07A. So it is just a nice tapered blending brush, and I'm just going to go ahead and blend this into my crease here and a little bit higher than the crease. A little closer zoom on the eyes here. One thing that I'm just like slightly worried about is, so with my old camera, which is the Sony a5100, I struggled with that one literally for years, at least over a year, I'd know for sure, because when I was filming with it, I would get so many comments of people saying, stop using a filter, why do you use a face smoothing filter? And I'm like, I'm not. There is a filter setting in the Sony. You can see it in the settings, and you can do, I think it was like low, medium, high, or on, off, high. I can't remember which one. But I always, once I started getting those comments, I went and made sure it was set to off. But if you had this one of the autofocus settings on, it wouldn't matter that you had that setting turned off. It would still kind of do this like beauty smoothing thing that the camera did. So every time I went to film, I had to make sure, because sometimes it would just like automatically get turned on. If you toggled back between certain settings, it would flip it on to that autofocus setting. So I would have to be going in and making sure that I was turning that setting off. Otherwise I was getting like Reddit threads about me. I'm like, seriously, like it's not, I don't know. I just always think things aren't that deep, but maybe that's just me. But it would get like super frustrating, and so now it's kind of weirding me out because I'm seeing this like tracking thing on my viewfinder, and that was how I would know in case I forgot to look at the setting on the Sony. I would have this tracking box around me, and that's what would tell me I'm in the, like, I don't have that turned off. I need to go turn it off before I film. So I'm like, I hope it's not doing that on this camera. There, as from what I've seen, and I've gone through the Canon settings so many times, I'm gonna pick up a little bit of Bittersweet with the Rephr P07C. I've been through the settings multiple times, and I haven't even seen anything about beauty filter, skin smoothing. I haven't seen any sort of setting like that, so I'm crossing my fingers. Nothing weird's gonna happen, but we shall see. Okay, so I'm just taking a smaller brush here, and I'm gonna work that like right into my crease, and then just kind of blend those shades together and kind of like flick it out here at the end. This is a really cool purple shade. Like, it's got a bit of like vibrancy to it. And I thought it could be a fun one to use today. So funny, it's like right as I felt like I was really starting to understand the Sony, I had like my lighting situation, you know, pretty much figured out. And it was like, then I got a new camera, and then we moved houses. So it's like, oh man, just when you think you're like starting to put everything together, it all gets switched up, and you gotta essentially start from scratch and start to learn again. So it's definitely a learning process, but that's alright. It's alright. Keeps things interesting, that's for sure. With no extra product, I'm just gonna blend those again with that first brush that I used. So I was thinking this could like all go really wrong, but if it does, we're doing it together. So I really like this shade Warm Pie, and I swatched it on my hand, and it's kind of a unique shade, and it has a lot of like gold glitter in it, but even when I swatch it, the glitter doesn't fully stay there. So I'm thinking of first packing this on the lid and then maybe doing the pigment that I grabbed out from Colourpop on top of it, and maybe that would make a cool, like, I've been getting a little bit more into like layering shadows or mixing shadows that I wouldn't normally think of to mix, so I'm kind of on that thought process right now. This could all go terribly wrong. I don't have a flat shader right by me, but I have this one, and I think it'll do the trick. This is the P10A from Rephr. So I'm just gonna grab Warm Pie, and I'm gonna start to pack it onto the lid. And I almost did want more of like a wash of color down here, since I'm gonna be putting something on top of it. So I think this brush will do the trick just fine. But I can even tell, like, as I'm applying it down here, like really none of that gold glitter really gets transferred. I see that with a lot of shades. A lot of times it's usually like a brown that has a bunch of shimmer packed into it, but you can't really see that once you put it on the eye. Like, it just doesn't translate with it. So I'm gonna go ahead and pack that first and see what we got going on. Take that first brush, and again, just make sure everything is blended over here. Honestly, I wasn't sure if that shade was really going to go with the purple, but I think that it does, or they blend together nicely enough. So you could keep it like that and do maybe a shimmer on top, or just liner, or just mascara. But I really want to try it with the pigment. So from Colourpop and Kathleen Lights, I pulled out the Scales pigment because I've used this one quite a bit and I really like it. So I'm gonna kind of pop it on this warm pie and see what it looks like. Now this is where it could all go wrong. So what I do is I just get a little bit in the cap there, and then I use this brush, which is like this silicone tip almost, I would say. I got it as a gift. It has no name on it, it has no nothing on it, so I have really no idea what to say there, but it's what I use for pigments. And I spray the brush with a bit of Fix Plus just to kind of help pick up the loose pigment, and then I'm going to go ahead and place that on my eye. Sometimes I feel like a scientist when I do this, like a chemist. Yeah. Okay, so I'm just gonna go ahead and start to pack that on here. Ooh, I actually quite like this so far. First thoughts. Ooh, I'm getting a lot of fallout though. Oh boy, oh boy, oh boy. I knew I picked up kind of a big chunk there. Like, I didn't get it mixed. Like, as I'm saying, I'm a chemist, I didn't mix it very well. And I feel like I can tell. I do try to lightly dust that away. I just might have a little bit of shininess to me. I probably should have done my eyes first. I was just in the mood to do my face first, but I really like how that pigment looks on there. Okay, I'm just gonna try to do a better job of spraying my brush. I usually don't have issues with the pigments having too much fallout, but I usually do a better job at not having it so clumpy. I feel like sometimes I kind of like rush myself when I'm on camera. So just gotta do a better job at taking my time. I think that looks really cool. I like the way that that came out. Just layering it on top of that other one gives it a cool base that you don't get on your own when you use this pigment. So I like it. I feel like that was a good decision. This is how my brush looks. You can see that chunk on there, and I just like went in with it the last time. So I'm just gonna go ahead and make sure I mix that a little bit more so it's smooth on this applicator, and hopefully we won't have that same issue. So I virtually have no fallout on that side. Dang it, Samantha, your patience. Need to work on that, girl. And then I'm just gonna take that smaller brush that we had used, and once again just kind of blend everything together. I'm actually really feeling this look now. I'm super happy I decided to go for the pigment. Yeah. For mascara, I'm adding the one from Flower Beauty. This one is in Purple Quartz. I'm gonna put this into my waterline. My lower lash line, I'm first going to add in the shade Bittersweet. This is with the P07E from Rephr. So I'm just going to smudge that on the lower lash line. I almost feel with like the fallout and how it looks, like I feel like I'm wanting to like go to Coachella or a music festival. You know what I mean? Are those over? Those might be over. I'm gonna blend it out with a little bit of that first shade that we used, the Soft and Sweet. I'm just gonna use the same brush. Just kind of blend it and make it a little bit smokier on the lower lash line. For my inner corner, I'm gonna grab some Sugar Cookie from the palette. I'm using the Morphe E36. I'm just gonna pop this on the inner corner. I'm gonna add a little bit to my brow bone as well. I'm gonna go ahead and add my mascara. I have this one from Catrice. This is the Pret a Volume mascara. So I'm just gonna add it to my top and bottom lashes. Alrighty, so the eyes are done. For my highlight, this is the Nars Fort de France, and I'm going to use from Rephr the P08. So it's just kind of a big tapered blush brush. You know, not a blush brush. Why is that just like the hardest thing to say, man? But I'm just gonna go ahead and add that highlight here. So I pulled out quite the assortment for lip products, but I think I'm gonna go ahead and do my lip liner and lip gloss. So from NYX Cosmetics, this is the Nude Beige lip liner. I lined my lips and filled them in. The other two options that I have are a little bit more pinky, and I don't know, with this eye look, I think I wanted something a little bit more nude. So I'm going to add some of my Buxom white brush and gloss on top. So after the lips are finished, this is my final look for today's video using the products that I picked out for my June Shopped My Stash. Again, I will have my video linked down below kind of going over why I made some of these choices and also talking about all the products that I tried really consistently throughout the month of May. But I hope you enjoyed seeing me get to this look. I really like how it came out, so I'm pretty excited about this. But let me know some of your thoughts down below. Thank you guys so much for watching. If you did enjoy today's video, I hope that you'll give it a thumbs up. I hope that you'll also consider subscribing before you go, and I will see you in tomorrow's video.